All right, episode 1.5. This is going to be midweek water change. Filamentous algae continues. Green dust a little bit, so we're going to take care of that. Alright, so I'm just going to hit the spots that I missed with hydrogen peroxide, and I just have a little syringe and some hydrogen peroxide. And so I'm going to hover over the areas I missed and do a slow squeeze. The tank is off. And I'm just kind of painting the hydrogen peroxide over all the green spots. Just make sure you use caution. You can kill fish if you use too much, so just go on the internet and find out how much you can use. I'm not going to tell you because you can do this at your own risk. So far I've used 40 milliliters, and I won't go over 100. I know you can go heavier, but just for safety reasons. Also, I make my own hydrogen peroxide. I use 34% hydrogen peroxide and then dilute it down to 3%. You can also find how to do that on the internet. I actually don't have much hydrogen peroxide left. I'll have to make a new bottle, so I'm just going to use up what I have here. Okay, so that's used up. That's what I have, and you can see it starts bubbling. So updates, green dust, I really can't judge if it's getting worse because this is only day 4 for my midweek change, but I can say that I'm throwing some leaves off the balsamica. So what I think I will do today, even though it's kind of midweek before my big maintenance, is I'm going to pull one strand or one section of the diformis out, and I'm going to spread out this balsamica. It's looking really, really rough, and I'm thinking maybe it's just too jammed up on itself. But I can see the other one here stunting. So maybe, I don't know, hopefully when the tank gets in a better situation, it'll do better. If not, I'm going to pull the whole thing and put it into the hospital tank and let it recover. But yeah, the filamentous seems to just kind of be creeping up on everything, even though these tops look healthy. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. It's looking bleak. But anyways, I'm going to let this go for 15 minutes, and it's just going to get bubbly, and it's going to get a little more bubbly over time, and then we'll drain, and I'll show you the rest of the hydrogen peroxide procedure. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move some diformis out. I'm going to take 2 chunks. Actually, it looks like 3. Okay, that's pretty good. And I think I'm just going to cut off a couple of stems that do not have algae, which is probably going to be none of them. Yep, so this is all just going to go to the garbage because I don't see any small ones that are algae free. Maybe on this one, let's see. That one actually looks pretty good. So I'm just going to trim that. And I got water on the floor. This one actually looks good. Okay, so 2. And my wife will go ahead and just throw those into the 40, which is doing so awesome. And those will recover. And so I'm going to take this bad boy, pull her up, and I'm just going to move her right here into kind of a position. So I'm going to give this some room to breathe. I don't know if I've got them too crowded or it's just... I noticed this kind of when I put the Landon aqua soil in my 40, that when it was so fresh, it didn't do too well. But now that it's been a couple of months there, it's actually doing incredibly well. So I'm just maybe it doesn't like the really fresh aqua soil. So here I'm just kind of twirling some of this algae if it'll come up. Yeah, see some of that just breaks off. It's kind of melting is what I think is happening. And of course with the melting comes algae. All right. Man, when you do aqua soils twice a week, as much water changes as you can freaking do. What a mistake I made not doing that. And I actually ran into this problem several years ago. I think it was 2022 when I first got interested in getting into Dutch and like getting serious and trying competitions. So I went out and bought the Landon, and I didn't do this because I just really didn't know. And man, I had filamentaceous, like you couldn't even see the back of the tank. And one day we trimmed the tank really good and it was just gone. So I'm kind of hoping this will be the case with this tank. And now that we are going to bump up these water changes, hopefully we'll get there a little bit faster. And that tank wasn't cycled, this one was. So maybe this little stent is not going to be as long and severe. Every problem in this tank is a result of inaction on my part. Taking one more stem of diformis out. And I drop my tools. Alright, that looks pretty good. So what we're going to do now is drain, and I'll show you the final step for my hydrogen peroxide procedure. Alright, we're starting to drain, and you can see here this is a pre-filter kind of thing that I had to design to keep the hatchets from getting pulled into the overflow box. And it actually kind of works out because it's catching a lot of larger debris. And I do clean that every couple of days. So what I do is these tend to be in the direct light. So I just give them a quick spritz. I'm going to get in the back on the wall and that. Okay, that's it. Same thing over here. On the back walls. Again, I'm almost out of hydrogen peroxide, so alright, and then we'll just wait for this to drain even more. Okay, the tank's gotten a little bit lower so I can kind of hit some heavier areas. Make sure your plants are out of the way in the water. because the direct contact can burn them out. That's good. Get in there. Gonna knock all that back. Come on, give me a little more. There we go. All right, done. We're gonna quickly refill. So I just built this pipe and it connects to a hose that runs to our storage, and we have a large like sump pump kind of thing, almost like what you would drain a pool for, but smaller. But it does about 2,000 gallons per hour, so it has all the head pressure. I can hit all my tanks in the different rooms. Have it connected to a Casa plug, and you just do it off your phone, and the fill begins. Okay, so we're just about full. So one of the nice things about the CoralView Hydros tank controller is I can pretty much manage everything right off the cell phone. Get my pumps rolling. CO2 pumps also control, get that rolling. The solenoid is on the controller too, and my heaters. My heaters do run through the controller, but they also are connected to an Inkbird, and so I have some double redundancy there. It does get cold here in Albuquerque, so I have to be a little bit careful, and I do have to preheat my storage water because that'll go down into the low 50s because it's so cold in the garage. All right, midweek water change done, just some basic maintenance. Just trying to keep ahead on that. So Tuesday will be the big water change again. I'm going to go over some Dutch rules and start applying those Dutch rules to the tank and start moving a few things. Even though we have a disaster of algae, always be moving in the direction to where you want to be and kind of start getting that layout and just troubleshoot along the way. Hopefully this does not last long. We will see. All right, thanks for watching. See you Tuesday.